What's up, everybody? This is the Metal Gamer Podcast here. I am your host, Ian Allen.
And I am Jason Jacobs, the co-host.
And we are here to talk about everything that's going on with rock and roll, metal, video games, and a nice little, a nice little, a nice little bit of horror to go on the
Yeah,
side. Anyways, let's get to our first topic here. Ironically enough, after we all thought that they were done, after they concluded their final tour, the end, which it is their final tour, but they're not breaking up as a band. Motley Crue released a new song called "Simply the Dirt," because it is going to be on their soundtrack to the movie The Dirt, which will be on Netflix on March 22nd, and
yeah.
it features Machine Gun Kelly, which I gotta say, I don't really listen to rap, but that rap he did fitted Motley perfectly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I gotta say too, like, as much as I loved Saints of Los Angeles, this song to me, it sounds a lot more fresh, and it kind of reminds me of something that they would have done in the 80s.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which, which is what Nikki Sixx said as well. It sounded like old school Motley Crue, which, let's be honest, you can't go wrong with Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Doctor Feels Good, Girls, 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 Theater of Pain.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, I mean, if you really want to say that one of their albums was definitely a freaking glam metal album, it was definitely Theater of Pain. They had the look.
Well, they got their biggest supposedly ballad out of it.
Yeah, Home Sweet Home, which it's a great song, and I love Mick Mars' solo in there, but oh my god, can radio stations play something else? They had other hits than just Home Sweet Home and Smoke in the Boys' Room.
Yeah, that's only two songs that was on that album that got big. There wasn't a lot of good songs on there.
I think that the only other song that can be a standout is um, Louder Than Hell.
Yeah.
But that's only three songs. That's worth mentioning.
Hey, it was better than Generation Swine.
Let's be honest here. Anything that Motley has done is better than Generation Swine.
Yeah, I agree. Too experimental.
Yeah, way too much.
It wasn't their style.
They were definitely trying to appeal more to the alternative side of music with that one. Even more so than their self-titled album, which didn't have Vince Neil on it. And that album is
Yeah.
kind of, a lot of Motley fans have said that that album has a little bit of some grunge influence in that, which I can definitely hear it, big time.
Yeah. That album was definitely better than Swine.
But
Honestly.
but they have recorded four new songs for the soundtrack, and I'm excited. And one of them came out as a joke because Nikki Sixx thought that it it would have been funnier than hell if they did this. They recorded a cover of the Madonna song "Like a Virgin."
Uh-huh. I have not heard that. You hear that?
No. They haven't released it yet, but supposedly, what I can't remember if it was. Let me double check real quick. It was either Nikki Sixx. I think it was Nikki Sixx that said this, but in that cover, Mick Mars does a little throwback to Metallica because the reason why Metallica wanted to work with Bob Rock, and if you people don't know who Bob Rock is, he is the guy that produced Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
And as we all know, that came out before the album that people say that Metallica sold out on, which I disagree severely with that.
Yeah, I
Okay, here it is. This is from Ultimate Classic Rock. Okay, let's see here. Okay. In a new interview, bassist Nikki Sixx talked about how he decided the band should record the 1984 post-disco pop hit. As he told Billboard, he thought of it while walking his dogs. When, quote, when my mind opened up like that, these ideas pop in. And it popped in my head, and I sort of like looked up as to laugh at God and went, "You're pretty funny." At first, Sixx thought that covering the Madonna song was a really horrible idea, but then he ran it by producer Bob Rock and even made a demo. The other members of the band built upon the work, with Mick Mars contributing a little chugging. That's a bit of a nod to Metallica because when, like I just said, when Metallica heard the Dr. Feelgood album, they used Bob Rock to make the Black Album. And Sixx recalled, it's kind of a nod back to those guys because we were working with Bob again. So that cover is going to be interesting, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm
I don't know how I feel about it yet, but
I mean, hopefully maybe they make it more like their style, which I'm sure that they will, but it's like Madonna's like a version. That's kind of like how Sweet Child happened. It started off as a joke and it became this big thing. But
we'll see.
yeah, I mean, if they release that song next, we'll definitely review it here because I'm not a Madonna fan. I mean, like,
I have respect for her. But...
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you really want to think about it, out of like the big pop acts of the '80s, she's probably the only one still remaining. I mean, Michael Jackson's dead, and so is Prince, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But so I'm glad that Motley is doing something again. I wish that they would just flip off that contract and tour, but that's just me being greedy because I would like to see them at least one more time.
I would go see.
But yeah, looks like March is the month of Motley Crue, so
I'm ready for the movie.
I am too, and I'm glad that they're staying true to how the book was, because part of the reason why I didn't want to see the Cream movie was I already knew that they would change things to make it more dramatic than what it already was. So I'm not a fan of when people do that with like movies based on artists, because of the fact that they can people can get false information. The Doors movie is one of those movies to where like the band hated that movie because it wasn't. They didn't portray Jim Morrison the way that they knew him. So it's unfortunate that you have these big movie studios that would do that, and that's not what Motley wanted. They wanted the movie to be how the book was, and I have respect for them for that. But I'm gonna be honest right here, parents. I don't, and I'm gonna be honest about this. If you have kids that like Motley Crue, and all that's all I'm gonna say. Wait for them to get older before letting them watch this, because the book, because obviously with the type of lifestyle they lived, it was all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and a big emphasis on sex, drugs, and rock and roll, especially the first two.
Yeah.
So this is not a movie for kids at all, compared to probably the Queen movie, which would be a little bit more easier to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Alright. So, I want to also say something real quick, because I forgot to say this in my intro, is that I can be pretty brutally honest, and if you don't like Eddie Trunk or Howard Stern, you're probably not going to like me. I say things how it is, and which is why we're going to move on to this subject here. Greta Van Fleet, a band that is actually, in my opinion, the first rock band since probably Nirvana that actually blew open the door for I don't know if that would be the right term, but Greta Van Fleet is the first, at least in my opinion, rock band that's actually getting some good coverage. And unfortunately, because of their singer sounding too much like Robert Plant, people are calling them Led Zeppelin ripoffs.
Which they're not doing Led Zeppelin song.
No. I disagree with anyone that says that, and I think... Okay. I'm going to take off my gloves, but this is all I'm going to say. Even as rock fans, I don't care that you don't like Greta Van Fleet. I don't care that you think of them as a Led Zeppelin ripoff, but we should respect what they're doing. This is the first rock band that is actually doing things how things used to be. They are getting popular. Their albums are doing well. They won a Grammy. A real rock band in the rock category won a Grammy.
Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, instead of making fun of these guys, which, by the way, they are around my age, we should give them a bit more respect that they deserve.
I agree with.
I mean, can you name any other band that's doing this well right now? I mean, I would say Ghost, but it took Ghost till their third album to actually become mainstream.
Yeah. That's...
And Ghost started technically in 2008. So Ghost is kinda not that new anymore.
New to some people, though.
Yeah, but
The mainstream
But in my opinion, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this from a lot of people that started out with the mainstream era. They don't exactly, at least in my opinion, I like Meliora, I like Prequel, but they don't. How can I say this? Prequel to me, even though that it's a really good album, if you want to know what Ghost is, listen to the first two albums, which is Opus Eponymous and I'm gonna screw up this name because I can't say it for the life of me. Infestissimum. Those two albums to me is what represents Ghost the best. But that's my opinion. And plus, I also don't like that some of the original members are not in there either, and I'm not. And we'll get into that later because as what my co-host can probably tell you, we could make that a whole episode because it annoys me greatly.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. We covered some Motley Crue, and I had my first rant of the of the podcast. I guess we should go into oh yeah. So Tool fans, how does it feel to know that your band might be having an album coming out very soon?
Hey, I'm a Tool fan, and I'm ready for it. It's been a long time.
That kind of became kind of like, like, everybody made fun of Guns N' Roses for taking too long on Chinese I can't say the word. Chinese democracy. But Tool took longer.
Yeah.
But, did they set a release date for that album yet? Let me check real quick. I mean, if this seems a bit unorganized to our listeners, this is our first time doing something like this, so okay. Support, apparently, according to the this one website here, the Conscience of Sound. I don't know how credible they are. I don't know if they are a good source. But it appears that new Tool album is likely either done or ready for mastering. Interesting.
Well, I heard it was that he was done.
Okay, so it's done then. Well, either way, I think that Tool fans are going to be very happy this year.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's worth the long wait, because you know that there's going to be those certain fans that'll be like, this album sucks. It wasn't worth all the wait or all the hype. Because you know that there's going to be some fans that'll do that.
Yep.
And, I mean, I definitely respect Tool. I got to get more into them, but if you like bass, if you like bands with a damn good bass player, there you go. I mean, I played a bit of Tool on my co-host's bass before, and pretty fun stuff, I gotta say. It's fun stuff to play.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, da, 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 da. Okay. Alright, let's switch over to the gaming side of things, because there's a lot going on. Well, after Sony announced that they weren't gonna do E3, oh wait, never mind. They are gonna be doing something for E3. They're just pulling a Nintendo, and they are going to... Hang on here real quick. Ass. No. Okay, this place is ad infested. Let me go find... Okay. Anyways. Basically, EA, the company that everyone loves to hate, is not going to be doing E3. They're not going to be doing a traditional press conference. Sony was, well, technically, I'm not sure if they're going to do just a live stream of some games they're going to announce. I don't know what they're doing. But basically, pretty much the only big companies that are going to be there is going to be Nintendo, Microsoft, I believe Bethesda is going to be there. And I'm sorry if I butcher their names. The company that makes the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and I believe maybe, I'm not sure if they're confirmed yet. I gotta do some research on that. Square Enix as well is going to be there. So this could be, I think, this could be the end of E3 as we know it, unfortunately. I mean, the thing is, the thing that's sad about this is, like, you can definitely say that because of the internet, this is kind of the reason why E3 might be starting to maybe die off, but, I mean, hopefully it doesn't, because I love watching every year. I love seeing all the game announcements. It is the one of the events in the year that is focused mainly on gaming. And I am not going to be surprised. Of course, this is simply a joke, because a lot of first-person shooters are heading this way. I would not be surprised if we see some more Battle Royale games announced at E3s.
Probably.
Because that is the current trend in gaming, and it is the most... Oh boy. How can I say this without sounding like a Battle Royale hater? Because I'm not. The Battle Royale genre as a whole is so stale. It is so repetitive. Everyone does the same thing pretty much. It's the basic formula. You go in and you try to survive, and then after a certain amount of minutes, there's this, I'm going to use the Fortnite terminology, the storm, that will swallow up players and make you lose life.
Yep.
I don't see how this trend is going to last for very much longer. And now I'm guessing Halo Infinite is going to be having a Battle Royale game. But the thing is with that is that I believe that they're not axing any of their main stuff that people enjoy, like traditional multiplayer and story, which the thing is about Halo and what I respect Halo so much is that it is not your traditional first-person shooter series. It's not like Call of Duty. There is an actual engaging story with Halo, and as a fan of Halo, I'm excited for Halo Infinite. I'm ready. I'm hoping we don't have to wait till the not the PS5, the Xbox One 2, or whatever they're going to call the next Halo system to play it. I'm hoping they will do what they did for Halo 4, to where like they released it on both consoles. Because with Halo 4, it was not just released on the 360, it was also released on the Xbox One. So that is what I'm hoping. And, in my opinion, Halo is worth buying a Xbox for. But, supposedly, if you don't want to buy an Xbox, I'm guessing Halo might be coming to PC.
What?
Yeah.
PC too, huh?
Yep. The Master Chief collection that has Halo 1, Halo 2, my personal favorite of the Halo series, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, which I'm not sure if they're going to make that a part of the PC version for free, or if you're going to have to pay for it like you do on the Xbox. But it will also have Halo 4 and multiplayer. Now, as a streamer, this is a big deal to me, because I can now stream Halo easily without dealing with lag. Because I tried streaming Halo before, because kind of similar to PlayStation, the Xbox has something built into where you can just put the image on your computer screen, but it was really laggy. So when they actually announce it, we'll definitely let you all know. Now then, I wanna say something that really annoys me about a certain gaming company that starts with a K, that ends with an I. Oh wait, I know their name. Konami. I recently streamed their Castlevania compilation that's on PlayStation 4, where it has Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, and I streamed it, of course, because I love streaming when I'm in the mood to do it. I don't recommend streaming the old school Castlevania, because you need all your concentration for that.
Probably so. They're hard.
But so much fun.
Yeah, they are. I like the very first one, honestly. It's my favorite.
I'm not sure which one is my favorite, because I like a lot of them, and I love the music, and I love the anime. But, and it came to my attention. Actually, no, it didn't come to my attention. I had this thought suddenly on stream, and I did this rant, and I feel like ranting here about them, because they don't get it. I swear, they don't. they put 2 Castlevania characters in Smash Brothers for the Switch. People automatically assumed something good would come from that, and nope. What did they do? They put a compilation of Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation 4. And here's the thing. At least we have something Castlevania right now, which is that, Smash Brothers, and the anime. But people want a new game. Like, jeez. Like, really? Castlevania is still a good freaking franchise. You can still do so much with it today.
Yeah, you could.
But, oh no. They just want to focus on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I mean, here's the thing. I like Yu-Gi-Oh, but come on. You have all these great IPs. You have Castlevania, Contra, Metal Gear, which here's the thing. They also screwed up by firing what's his hang on real quick. Oh yeah, they also fired Kojima, who freaking created the Metal Gear franchise, and they disrespected him greatly after they fired him. Like, seriously, like, Capcom was bad, but you guys are probably worse than EA and Activision. Like, my God. This is what we want. We want a new Castlevania game, and we also want a freaking compilation of every Castlevania game ever made. You guys can do it like how Capcom did it with Mega Man. You guys can have one for the old school style Castlevania, and you can have one for the Metroidvania style ones. It's that simple, and it wouldn't take much either. That will satisfy everyone, and heck, put it on everything. Put it on the Switch, put it on the PlayStation, put it on the Xbox, put it on PC.
And it wouldn't be hard to do those games over.
No. Not at all, because they're small files. It wouldn't be hard to... I just don't get it. It's like, you have these studios with these great IPs, but they're either not doing anything with them or just abusing them. I mean, like, I kind of expected this behavior, I can't talk today. I expected this behavior from a freaking American gaming studio, because when it comes to the Japanese, they care about their products. They care about their consumers. Why is it that there's a game that's made in America, aka Fallout 76, that is so buggy and incomplete, while in Japan they really have any games that are buggy and incomplete? I wonder why is that?
Because they don't put all the hard work into it, make it not that way.
Exactly.
And why you think 76 is suffering so bad? Because it's a crappy game.
Mm-hmm. It just blows my mind that, like, video games are a big part of people's lives. It is one of the hobbies that a lot of people have. I mean, it's not like the 80s to where a certain demographic played video games. Everyone plays them nowadays. Girls, the type that wouldn't have played them in the 80s, jocks. Everyone plays video games nowadays. And I don't know where the hell I'm going with this.
You have sports games, so that's why jocks play too.
Mm-hmm. Which, let's be honest, sports games are like first-person shooters. They're basically the same game, but tweaked a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, every year they change enough to...
Mm-hmm. But I am curious on what this year is going to bring, because there's so many tasty rumors going around right now that it's going to be interesting if they become true, especially this one, which may freak people out a little bit. There's a rumor going around that Microsoft games might be appearing on the Switch. And what's so crazy about that is that the Nintendo and Microsoft from last generation, they wouldn't have done that. It's amazing how these companies, the big three, have changed nowadays, business-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, we have crossplay now.
Yeah, like Fortnite's crossplay.
Mm-hmm. Rocket League. I believe that there's some others that will be. I mean, with Friday the 13th, the game coming to the Switch, maybe that game will get crossplay.
Yeah, could be.
But I'm not sure if the lawsuit will prevent that, because I don't know if that will count as a new feature being added or not.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah, I mean, this year is going to be interesting, and I'm sure that we'll cover everything. So there is something that is close to my heart that I want to talk about, because this is the band that got me into rock music and metal music big time, and it is Guns N' Roses. My favorite band of all time. I've owned the same album 3 times. Which is Appetite for Destruction. And what's interesting right now is that Duff has done an interview, because before we had an interview with Slash and Richard Fortus, to where they said that they confirmed that they are working on new music.
Woohoo!
And Duff came out and said, you know what they said. So I'm ready. I want to hear Slash and Axl on a record together. And
yeah, me too.
Because as much as I love the Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, I feel like their last album was kinda. I mean, like, I was excited for it, but I was also disappointed in the sense that I want a new Guns N' Roses album.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. I don't mean that negatively, because Miles Kennedy is a absolutely fantastic singer, and I loved everything they have put out so far, especially their second album, which is apocalyptic. I can't say the word. Apopto. You know what? I'm not gonna try. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I just, I feel like the whole reunion kind of put a shadow over what Slash will do separately, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, and again, I don't mean that in any sort of negative way, because I know that this current Slash tour is doing very well. And from what I've heard of the new album, it's pretty damn good. And I gotta listen to all of it, because I've been listening to like my god, like last month I was in a full blown death metal mood. And but you know, it's time for a new Guns N' Roses album. It's time for a new Guns N' Roses album. I think that album will sell very well compared to Chinese, because because the thing that kind of jeopardized that album is that it didn't have Slash on it. That's what screwed it over, I think. And
that and it took too long to come out.
Yeah, that too. I do think that people should go back and listen to that album, because it is a really good album. There are some good songs on there. I mean, hell, they are playing those songs live with Slash playing it, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Which is what I was kind of hoping that would happen too, because at the time, before we had the first true show, because as what a lot of people know, is that they did a throwback show at the Troubadour. And I remember that because I stayed up pretty late to see if people would post something, because they would not allow cameras or video recordings at all in there. And I was hoping for something, and I got a snippet of like Mr. Brownstone, and I saw Slash and Axl on that stage together. I was like, oh my god, it's really happening. And it's kind of amazing how like they proved everyone wrong. Everybody thought that, you know, Slash and Axl would have just went their separate ways. They would have had another falling out, but you know, at the same time, they're not young anymore. They have matured as people. People change when they get older. I mean, what more can you say?
They're not doing the same things they were doing before in the 90s.
Not at all. I mean, all the band is cleaned up. You know, they don't do drugs. They don't drink really at all anymore. Axl might still kind of drink sometimes. I'm sure he does, but Axl was never really a addict. He was the only band member that wasn't messed up.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm ready for a new Guns and fucking Roses album. I am excited for anything that Motley Crue is throwing out our way. I'm glad that they're doing something again. Because, my God, I could go for at least one more Motley Crue show right now.
Same here.
And, so, let's talk about a little something that me and, well, the third thing that me and my co-host here is passionate about, and that is masks. Horror replica masks. Oh boy. I'm probably going to get myself into a lot of trouble here, because I'm guessing this first episode is going to be the juicy one, because I've had 2 other rants in this, so I hope that this is entertaining, and the next episode that we do will, I'll make sure to have things more organized. I'll have everything that I want to talk about, you know, on my computer screen, and so we can talk about it a lot more professionally. But I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm craving another mask right now.
I always am.
I really need to save up or do something so I can get the other mask that a certain mask maker's make of Leatherface. I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name on podcast, but all I'm gonna say is that when it comes to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he makes the best masks. I have one and it's nice, and I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, let's see how long we've been recording, for about 47 minutes, so we can make this quick for how we got into the whole hobby and all that. See, how I got into the hobby was pretty much like this. Me and my nephew were watching a crap ton of horror movies, and when we landed on the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's the movie that made me a fan. And ever since I saw that movie and I watched it a crap ton to the point I got burnt out, I always wanted to have a remake Leatherface mask and costume. And I have one, actually I have 2 now, along with a costume, because yes, I do cosplay as horror characters. Horror, not whore, horror.
Yeah.
But it was the first mask I laid my eyes on was a AM Creations Tommy 3.0. And it took me about 5 years to get one, and I finally got one. If you want, that mask is so comfortable. It's like a soft latex, almost. It's not rough. It's pretty easy to wear. And the cool thing about it is that you can undo the lacing on the back of the head, and you can make it bigger if you have a fatter head, or you can make it smaller if you have a baby size head. And but I really do gotta get myself a proper independent Myers mask. Because how do I not have one yet? I have some Jason hockey masks. I have Leatherface. I don't have a proper Michael Myers. I mean, yes, I do have 2 Trick or Treat Studios here, but, and we'll probably talk about them in like a future episode, because oh boy, I have a lot to say about that dirtbag Chris Zeffiro. And
That's another subject.
Yeah, that could be about a freaking episode in itself.
Yeah.
because we both would have a lot to say about that company. But
Good and bad. Good and bad.
yeah, pretty much good and bad. But I am hoping I can get myself a Cemetery Gates production Halloween 2 Michael Myers mask. I wore one last year at a convention we go to called Horror Hound, and I gotta say it as Horror Hound because if I said Horror Hound, people would think I'm saying Whorehound. Because I'm pretty sure that we don't go to a porno convention. I mean, like, there are things at these conventions that could be seen as like some suggestive themes, because there are certain girls that wear certain clothing, which I'm not gonna complain one bit, but that's just me. And then, do you want to tell your story how you got into this hobby?
Well, I got in this hobby because of you.
Yep. Yep. First he wanted. First he wanted to make masks, and then he decided to cosplay.
Yeah.
And his first costume that he ever did, which I only helped out by giving him the type of jumpsuit that he should get. I'm not sure about the mask. I think you pretty much, or you had the mask already before you made the costume.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
And then I helped him out with some details, because on the actual coveralls, the pockets are ripped out.
Yeah.
And the version he's doing is the more cleaner looking coveralls look from the movie, which is the one. How can I say this without making people confused? He is the Halloween 6 producer's cut Michael Myers. Again, I'm still making this confusion. Let me say this. His costume is pretty much the producer's cut Halloween 6 version of Myers, because as what people would know, when you watch the 3 theatrical cut, his coveralls kind of, I think it might be the lighting, but it turns almost bluish.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's all like very weathered up. But as for me, I cosplay as, like I said, remake Leatherface, and I'm not afraid to admit that, because I don't believe that we should condemn a character even if the actor turns out to be a douchebag. And let me tell you, the freaking actor of the remake Leatherface, he's a douchebag. And trust me, I'm being nice about it. There's other names I could say about him.
Yeah, you're being the polite version.
Yep. But, we mostly watch slasher movies and also monster movies, because I know that you are a big fan of monster movies as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't mind a few super supernatural horror movies. I loved The Conjuring 2. Um, the The Exorcist. I don't necessarily agree that movie is the scariest movie of all time, and I know that might be blasphemy to some horror fans, but I rarely get scared.
It's probably a little dated now, so it's not as scary nowadays. It would be back when it came out.
How dare you! You must always respect the classics.
Well, I think it's just that it's dated, so the the scare factor now is not at their same as it was now back then. Back then, it wasn't that many kind of like not those type of movies out.
Yeah, but speaking of old horror movies, there's actually one horror movie that still kind of gives me a chill down my spine, and that is Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
And I think it's because of the fact that it's in black and white.
yeah, that's a good movie.
It is. It's a very good movie.
The original, I think, is better than the remake.
Oh yeah, totally.
Not because
Well, I mean, the thing is, the remake, if they changed Barbara into a more of a more if I can say the word right, they didn't make her as useless. And I don't mean that in no disrespect towards that character. I mean, it's true. You know, she was, you know, just like anybody that went through something like that. She was in fear. She was in shock. She didn't know what to think of it. I mean, can you imagine having zombies coming after you? Like, the fear factor of it?
yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. It's like, we are them, they are us. And it's that, and plus, you know, those zombies could be our family or friends, and the shock I mean, I'm glad it's impossible for a zombie apocalypse to happen. I don't want to go through that. I would rather go. I would rather go through having a real Jason Voorhees than go through zombies, and I don't want that
Yeah.
either.
No.
And I would love to get some people that worked on the original on here to interview sometimes, because that's a movie I still go back and watch when I'm in the mood for it, and because of the fact that it is public domain, you can pretty much find it everywhere. I watched it on YouTube. You know, it is a great horror movie. It's still scary to this day, and you know, George Romero, may he rest in peace, but he is the godfather of all zombie movies. There will be no Walking Dead without him.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
I mean, anyways, it is we are at the end of our show here, and this is the first episode, and I gotta say this was fun to do, and I can't wait to record the next one. And
Same here.
next week we will have things a lot more organized, and I will make sure I get some topics up that we can talk about beforehand, because this is our first time doing this. Of course, there's going to be a few bugs here and there, but this has been the Metal Gamer Podcast. Have a good day. Have a good night. Rock on, play some damn good games, get scared, and we'll see you next week.